In today's video, we're continuing our coverage on the Kaiju legendary MonsterVerse Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire. This is not just a MonsterVerse YouTube channel. I promise I will get back to the Marvel DC videos very soon. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, hurry up and subscribe if you're new around here to make sure you never miss any of the videos. So, if you could check us out on Instagram, I always shoot to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, because I also post images about this movie that I can't post on YouTube over on the Instagram stories. So, it's cool if you could go check me out there. Also, follow us on Twitter, aka x.com, WarstuG, because also, again, I can post stuff on there that I can't post on here. So we're actually going to go over a plot leak today that covers the third act. And it does line up, kind of, with the other two test screen information I have. I'm not going to say exactly, but it definitely lines up. I've been sent this certain plot leak that's been going around a certain community for the last day, pretty much since last night. So I'm going to give a shout out to the original person that sent me this on Instagram. So Titanus_productions on the Instagram sent me this, but I've been sent this a lot of times in the DMs, but this was the first one that I actually responded to and had a look. And it does kind of line up what I've already got. Now, I'm not saying this is a 100% true plot leak, because like I always say, to me, a plot leak is like fan fiction, fantasy storytelling, because until the movie comes out, you don't know if it's true or not. But with the most recent toy leaks, it does confirm that Shimu is 100% true. Now, I will give a spoiler warning, even though you know by the title there's going to be spoilers. You know who it is. I'm actually trying to go away from covering leaks. I won't be doing it as frequently, but I will still cover stuff. And it's publicly out there. This actual post is on this huge MonsterVerse group, and a lot of people are questioning stuff in it. So let's break it down. It's not crazy in depth, but it does cover a lot, and it will trigger you. Like, you may get trigger warning based on how people react to every movie that's came out in 2023. Some people may get trigger warning. Just remember, we are talking about freaking monsters, for God's sake. So Godzilla fights Silas stroke Arachnic. Now, like I said, I can't confirm or verify if this is true or not. A lot of this does line up with a lot of stuff that's already in the trailer. In Rome, during the movie's opening sequence, before falling asleep in the Roman Colosseum, Doug shows up as a cameo, stealing Kong's war dart he hunted. When Kong first meets Suku is working for ScarKing. Now that's interesting, working for him. I thought they were all scared of him. And jumps Kong along with a bunch of other apes. Kong then grabs Suku and proceeds to use him as a blatant weapon against them. Now, what is interesting is a lot of people have said in multiple videos I've done, and I've noticed it on Twitter and on Instagram, is a lot of people seem to think there isn't going to be a tribe of apes that ScarKing has. And pretty much every plot leak we've gone over basically said you can literally see the tribe of ape in Trailer 1, and people are still in denial. There is toy leaks out for Shimo, and people still go, yeah, but the toys may not mean it. They're literally got a Godzilla fighting Shimo toy that they're releasing, and some people are like, yeah, but that might not happen in the movie. Lads, we've been going over this kind of stuff for 5-6 years now. I know how it plays out most of the time. Kong loses his axe during his first battle with ScarKing. Now, apologies, because for some reason, on a video I did recently, I was saying StarKing instead of Scar. I don't know why I said that. I didn't even know I said it when I listened back to the audio when I edited it in Adobe Audition. My bad. My bad. So, Kong loses his axe during his first battle with ScarKing. I mean, that makes sense, somewhat. Godzilla and Kong have a battle in Cairo. Now, if this is true, that's cool. I knew Godzilla and Kong would fight again. Egypt, where Godzilla yet again gets the upper hand on Kong. Well, of course he would. He's the alpha. He's the freaking king of the Titans. He's the king of the monsters. Before Godzilla can finish Kong off, Mothra comes to the rescue to defuse the situation. Now, that is long rumored that Mothra is going to reappear. And on this post, I'm actually reading a lot of people, oh my God, how did Mothra get here? Now, everyone knew Mothra was going to return. Mothra always returned. So the Iwi foresee ScarKing's return. So they get Gia to summon Mothra, whom they discover in an underground Hollow Earth Iwi temple. guarded by some webbing. Now, this is most likely the sequence where we see him underground and you see the rose-ish color. And it did come out in the interviews that Gia was going to be pretty important like she was in Godzilla vs. Kong. Mothra has a support role in the final battle. Now, this is interesting, right? Because according to the most reliable people on Twitter, Mothra wasn't originally in the first test screening. She was just added at a later date. She helps keep Scar's apes troop at bay, whilst Godzilla and Kong battle ScarKing and Shimu. She fights using her classical wing scale pollen from the Toho movies webbing to wrap up the apes. So this implies there is going to be a tribe, but we already know that. I don't know why some people don't believe stuff. You can literally see that part in the trailer that ScarKing has a tribe. Whether they're Kong apes or whether they're orangutans doesn't really make that much difference. After supercharging on a French power plant, Godzilla fights and kills Titanus in Greenland that uses its old layer to evolve. I think the implication is that some of its energy dissipated into the surrounding areas, which is why Godzilla has purple stroke pink energy now. And a lot of people are getting triggered by that and saying it's woke. It's literally Rose Super Saiyan, although the way it's described in this alleged leak doesn't actually make it sound like that. It's interesting how it doesn't really say where Shimu comes from or where he appears, or is it even a he? Actually, we know the answer, and that's going to trigger some people. ScarKing leads Shimu and his troops of apes to the Iwi's Hollow Earth home in an attempt to find a way to the surface world so they can invade. Okay, so they're trying to invade Earth, but why? Once Kong gets his metal prosthetic fist, he heads up through a portal to get Godzilla help. After a misunderstanding, they diffused by Mothra. Godzilla and Kong travel back down into the Hollow Earth. Now, this is kind of funny because how do Godzilla and Kong actually talk to each other? I mean, I get it. There will be some kind of logic behind it, but that's actually quite funny. And it's worth noting, this is actually really hard to read because I'm actually having to zoom in on a picture, but I got a lot of people wanting me to cover this. So they travel back down to Hollow Earth to face off against ScarKing's army. Right as they clash, the Iwi activate a device that manipulates the gravity, leading to a sequence where Godzilla, Kong, Mothra, and Suku battle the army in a zero gravity. Most of ScarKing's army of apes is taken out here by Mothra. Suku, while Kong and Godzilla focus on the two heavy hitters. The gravity reactivates Godzilla and Kong, ScarKing and Shimu fall through a portal that drops them all off in Rio de Janeiro, where the rest of the fight takes place. I mean, nothing in this so far seems that far-fetched. ScarKing tries to defend himself against an attacking Godzilla with his whip, but Godzilla catches it in his mouth and breaks it, dropping the control crystal, enslaving Shimu and sending it sliding across the ground. So confirmed. I literally said that would be the case, that the whip is the thing controlling Shimo. This is interesting because this doesn't actually give us that much more context. I really want to know where Shimu first appears from, so let's carry on. Sliding across the ground as Kong and ScarKing scramble to recapture it. Suku comes in the last second with Kong's axe and brings it down on the gem, breaking the control over Shimo. ScarKing then receives the beating of a lifetime by Godzilla and Kong and Shimu before he freezes ScarKing solid with her ice breath. Now, okay, yeah, you just heard what I said, with her ice breath. So this plot implies that Shimu is going to be a female. I mean, that should not change anything. That really should not bother you, but I'm already seeing on Twitter that a lot of people are getting triggered by this. Shimo is a freaking Titan. She's a freaking monster. Just because she's female does not mean she's a boss. Does not mean she can't be a boss. So please get over it. There's been so much wokeness because of female stuff. Literally, it's a Titan. Does not matter on the gender. So let's read that bit again. Shimu before he freezes ScarKing with her ice breath. And Kong smashes him into a million pieces. So what does this mean? King Kong just absolutely decimated ScarKing. So does this mean that ScarKing is dead? We don't know. But it's also worth saying that multiple people have confirmed that Shimu is male. Now, it doesn't really matter. KMD also implied on Twitter that Shimu is male, but it really does not matter. So let's go over that bit again, just in case you misinterpret what it said. Breaking the control over Shimu, ScarKing then receives the beating of a lifetime by Godzilla, Kong, and Shimu before he freezes ScarKing with her ice breath. Kong smashes him into a million pieces, meaning ScarKing is gone and dead because ice breath smashes it, completely gone. The movie ends with Godzilla firing his atomic breath into the sky to dismiss Shimu's Ice Age blizzard she created before he swims back to Rome to rest in the Colosseum, whilst Kong and Suku ride Shimu back into Hollow Earth, where they free all the enslaved apes. Now, this sounds pretty cool. So I'm reading the comments on this actual post, and people are like, why would Godzilla kill his own Titan? He literally snapped Mechagodzilla's neck in the last movie, and Titans are all about being alphas, so it really makes sense that a Titan may die. And if you read it, it actually said that it was Kong that smashed ScarKing into a million pieces. Is it a shame that it seems like ScarKing's going to be a one-and-done villain? I mean, it would have been cool for character to stick around, but if it's an evil ape, it's not really going to get much better, is it? So, I've gone over the plot leak, as you guys wanted. It does line up with some other information I've had for months. I'm not really going to say what it lines up with. It's not far off. I mean, half of it lines up with it, but some of this could be misleading. Some of this might be made up, but I'm not here to tell you what's true and what's not true. I'm just here to deliver some information that a bunch of people wanted me to go over, so I went over it. I don't understand why people are getting so triggered by Shimo being a female. Have you literally seen the design of Shimo? She looks like a female. She looks like the white dragon from How to Train a Dragon, but of course, the internet is the internet, and with the reaction of Godzilla having a pinkish color for the new dorsal plates, it was only a matter of time before it came out that Shimu is in fact a female. But according to KDM Monsters, who pretty reliable, said Shimu, male question mark female, is it really that important? As far as I know, he was created as a male kaiju. In the end, we get a cool new Titan. I don't understand why it's such a big thing. It's just a monster in a monster movie. It's not something that changes the world forever. And then your boy Warstu says, because people try and make everything woke so they can cry and moan, even a monster shakes my head. It doesn't matter the gender. It's a freaking Titan. That's what your boy Warstu said. So likewise, guys, let us know, what do you think? I mean, it's pretty interesting. Doesn't really say where Shimu or ScarKing come from. It's really just talking about the third act. We get affirmation and confirmation that there are other Titans in it. It's sad that Titanus Doug's only going to have a cameo role and not a proper role. That sucks. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face on the beautiful face. Check us out on Twitter. And I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.